So here we have a typical layout for Conway's game of life. It's basically just similar to a spreadsheet program, a rectangular field with rows and columns. And here each cell can be filled with a life or not with life. And we consider each consecutive image as a next generation. But how does it work here? Well, let's stop that for the moment and have a closer look. I will first clear this board and just start with a very little generation. Each cell gives space for one life. So we got here 3 lives. And in the rest of the cells there is no life. However, there might be life born. In order for a cell to get birth to a new life, a cell must have exactly 3 neighbors. So for instance, these cells here, they don't have neighbors. So they will never come a cell into life. Even this cell here has only 2 neighbors, this one and this one. So this won't get life. However, this one is a candidate because it has 1, 2, 3 neighbors as life. And so it's valid for this cell here. So these 2 cells are potential candidates for a new life in the second generation. So this is considered as a birth rule. New life is created only when you have exactly 3 neighbors alive. However, we have also a rule for dying out cells. For instance, this cell here has currently only 1 neighbor, this blue one here. And 1 neighbor is not enough to survive. So this cell will die. Similar, it will happen to this cell because even this cell has only 1 neighbor, so it will die as well. However, this cell has, and we don't count these ones because they are in the following generation, they don't exist currently. This cell has 2 neighbors, and that's for survival fine. So this cell survives, this one dies, and here we get new life. So the second generation looks like that. However, if we go to the next 3rd generation, this cell will die again because there's not enough neighbors. This cell will die again, but new life will create it here and here because they have 3 neighbors. So I repeat, the birth rule is if you have exactly 3 neighbors. The death rule is if you have less than 2 or more than 3. So you survive with 2 or 3 neighbors. That is the rule, and let's have a look in a very simple single step. The next generation looks like that, the next like that, and this society lives forever. We can start that here, give it a go, and we just see the connections. However, this may look for the beginning quite boring, but there are more interesting patterns. Let's have a look. And we just start with a few predefined patterns, like the traffic lights, for instance. So let's start this. And it goes like this. And it ends up in this circular patterns. You can start and just make simple rows and have a look what happens. Let's go with it. What will happen? And we get quite nice patterns. And you can see the more complex it becomes, the more unpredictable is really what will happen. But not even this is enough. We will find some more interesting things of societies, which I can put on here. And we just start them. And see, they are not just living forever, they are even moving right about the... Let's make them even faster. And you can see how they work. They will collide. And if they collide, they might die, while the other ones still go nicely. You may ask, are there also generations that may recreate themselves? Well, we also have those. This is, for instance, called a pattern, another one which is called the glider gun. Let's start this one here. So the glider gun is living in itself, but what it also does, it reproduces something. And here you can see, here's a little glider that is just running. And here was reproduced the next glider. So this little glider gun creates lots of little gliders. And they just go in outer space, normally. However, in this case, we have another little life here, which is called the eater. It eats glider guns. As you can see, it doesn't die, but it eats these glider guns. Well, what would happen if there wouldn't be an eater? I stop it for the moment and take this eater away. And let's see what happens with the glider gun. Now we carry on. And we see the glider just walks forever. To finish that up, because it's just giving you some ideas, have a look for Conway's game. I make that same pattern, just much more interesting, and off we go. And we see here are the little eaters that walk off and collide with the little gliders walk off and collide with the eater. If you got interested in Conway's game of life, have a look at it. It is really fun to work with it.